template of triumph. A sigil stitched from the threads of countless battles waged around the world. It is the shape that we strive for. The composition every hand aspires to create. The point where all paths converge as we bend our own lines of fate ever closer to the perfect design. Now we gather to witness those bold enough to seize the golden thread. To cheer every victory that pulls their pattern tighter. To remember every moment that threatens to tear it all apart. The Aegis of Champions awaits in Shanghai, China. A living tapestry that chronicles the legends of our past. 6 teams compete for ultimate glory. Only one can seize immortality. Who will emerge victorious? The battle begins.
Let's start our day with a blockbuster of a series of Dota 2. We are getting ourselves ready for Team Liquid versus Team Spirit. And these two teams have already faced in the group stages, and it was so close, Winter. A 2-1 that worked out better for Team Spirit, of course. Before we get really into the nitty-gritty of it, do you have any overarching things you're going to look for in this series?
I think those are going to be like the supports. I think the supports are going to play a very pivotal role. I think definitely if you're asking me who's going to be like favorites, I feel like based on the games we saw, definitely Spirits are going to be the favorites here. They are the ones that have kind of, I think, figured out more things than Liquid.
They have figured out more things than Liquid. They also have more rings to their name than Team Liquid, and potentially that experience will carry them through. Team Liquid versus Team Spirit must be epic, but first, the teams. Here. They are the only team left that still has 2 players that are a 3-time hopeful. Can they make that dream come true? They have to continue their road here in the lower bracket. Their opponent here for this first lower bracket match for them is Team Liquid. It's Mika and Nisha, Ace, Foxy and Tofu as they take the stage to continue their lower bracket run. That's right, they were dropped down here from the very get-go, and now they're on fire to get more and to make this full run complete, to take a place in the grand finals for the 15th time for some of these players. Let's find out how they do, as there's a lot of experience on this stage between both squads. It's time to talk about who might come out on top of this one. And for that, Rhea, you wanted to first take a step back and look at Team Spirit, how they went through the group stages.
Yes, because very cool team releases vlogs about their experience, and they got to talk about their group stage, which I thought was so interesting because you get to see their thoughts as they come out of each match. Obviously, they won and were winning until they finally face off against Vision and were halted there. And the way that they talked about this team was just, they were like, we were just outmatched. And it's so kind of crushing to see a team that, you know, we can expect to potentially win this tournament be like, we were just outdrafted, we were outplayed. And at least they were able to take conclusions from it. They mentioned like this team taught them about Earth Spirit in how not only is it broken, but to see how they played with it, it made it look so easy to play with for the rest of the team. The way this team kind of thinks about the game, I think Miposhka has been crucial to helping them understand the gameplay. For example, some of them come away thinking, oh, we had to play this fight better, we had to play this fight better. But he's more of a push on, hey, actually, I think we didn't take proper advantage of our early game lead. Like they would win their lanes, but then they would take their axe and run into the jungle, the enemy jungle, and look for pickoffs, which did absolutely nothing, when instead he thinks they should put more of a focus on stacking the triangle more and then hyper farming that with their like axe and support, which gives the support a massive experience boost and gold boost too. And I think like that's how we see, for example, Team Vision playing so much better because they just have so much more net worth. They are playing more for that GPM. So I think Spirit they seem to be taking the right conclusions from their matches and should be looking stronger and stronger.
Yeah. I think that's the main thing, I think, with Miposhka coming back, right? It's got Spirit without Miposhka. It felt like they lacked that ability to always perfectly dissect the situations. They lacked that kind of tenacity, the understanding of like, how do we come back into a game? How do we come back into a tournament, especially? Because through multiple other tournaments with the other coaches that they had, the other versions of teams, it was like, Spirit, they're okay, but they don't have that kind of that grit to them. So it is really impressive seeing the impact Miposhka has. Just someone having a conversation, like Winter was mentioning, what do you do after first series, waiting for fourth series, that big break? You have to have a conversation. The value of someone contributing good conversation to a team, you don't know the value of that. You don't know what a player brings in the conversation out of the game. You can see Collapse hit a big RP. You can see Yotoro have 10 billion net worth for the billionth time of his career, right? But to have the best conversation, to understand the correct words to deliver, and that's what Miposhka can easily bring, of course, and it is interesting to see how he's going to craft that against Liquid.
Yeah, and we do have these two icons on the stage, the only two players, T, that have still got a chance of that third ring.
Yeah, and of course, they're icons because they're chasing that third ring. They've played together 1,341 times, 11th of all duos. They have the highest win rate of all duos with 1,200 games. Of course, they are playing against Boxy and Mickey, who have the most games of any duo. Like they are chasing, that's like 1,900 games. So of course, on the other side of the booth, it is a scary duo there. But of course, Yotoro and Collapse, they're on trajectory to easily continue chasing Boxy and Mickey, to break into the top 10 duos, maybe even get to second place, maybe even eventually overtake Boxy and Mickey in the future. But yeah, it is just an incredible story that these two players have.
They have an incredible story on the side of Team Liquid. A lot of cool stories as well. And one of those includes the man on your screen, Boxy, and his other support, Tofu. I was going to call him his position 5, but Winter, is that even true?
Some may call them 4.5s. They have two 4.5s, or they just have two position 4s. And I think they are one of the only few teams right now in Dota that kind of swaps their supports around. Usually you don't want to do that because it destabilizes the laning phase. Your supports might be confused about what they need to do every single game, and it's kind of hard to make it a very, very common occurrence all the time. And I think this is something that Liquid wants to do initially because they are trying to integrate both supports, which are natural position 4 players, into the team. So they figured, why not just swap them around, you know? And we've seen more of the melee heroes of Boxy, and Tofu is playing more of the range heroes. And I think initially during the tournament here, they didn't do it as much, but towards the last 10-15 games, they've been trying to do it a lot more with the melee and range heroes here. As you can see, both players have played a bunch of games with different cores during the course of the tournament.
Yeah, I think the cool thing with this is like when Liquid first made this roster shuffle earlier in the season, they were doing this based on like they didn't know how to craft this kind of roster, right? And then as the year progressed, they realized, wait, this is something that we can utilize to our advantage. And throughout each year, throughout each tournament, it's like, okay, now we can do this. So if we have Spirit Breaker, we can do this. If we have Tuscan, I think as much as it looks like it's a mid-tournament thing, it is something that they have slowly been perfecting over the entire season. And if there is a time to be doing it, it is at TI when you need to try and play your best. You shouldn't put a player on a hero that they're not ready to play. We saw that earlier in the tournament. We've seen teams eliminated because of it. And I think Boxy and Tofu are in a perfect position to be able to flex lanes and play whatever heroes and roles they need between the 4 and 5.
Of course, it's also great to see Ace and Tofu get to lane together again.
True.
Yep. They're up there on the pairs as well. Like they have been together ever since the good old Hellbear Smashers day. Oh.
I think it's very important to highlight that because I don't think you can do those swaps if the laning partners and the new laning partners, I guess, don't know each other as well as they do with Boxy and Mickey obviously being on a team and communicating with each other for a very long period of time. And Ace and Tofu, of course, also coming from that off lane together from their previous squad on this Team Liquid where they got split up for the first time. It's been working out for them, but we have seen them struggle here and there. And I want to talk a little bit about the type of Dota that both teams have shown on the main stage. Both routes have been very different, where of course it was Team Spirit TGov yesterday that was dropped to the lower bracket from Vision, and Team Liquid already dropped on day 1 by Yandex with an 0-2. How do you feel about their route to here and how they've been playing?
So at least with Spirit, I feel like their drafts are quite beautiful in the sense that they let their opponent get the heroes that they kind of want, and then they try and find ways to beat them. Like especially in that game 2 draft against Vision, it's like you see them dying, and now take a PL, and then you have the puck, and I got a Night Stalker. It's like, please take your heroes, we're going to beat you. Again, it didn't really work out, but it feels like Spirit is ready to try and deal with the problems in the moment, whilst Liquid, they lean more towards like the comforts. Like we want our Prophets, our Dawnbreakers, we want our, the classic Nisha, Leaners and Earth Spirits if available, right? So it feels like Spirit's ready to answer Liquid's consistency.
Yeah, I think that's something that Nisha mentioned on the main stage yesterday as well, Rhea, where he felt comfort, and therefore that was the main difference between their series against Yandex and their series against Falcons.
Yeah, I think when we see them off comfort is when it gets awkward, right? Like when they picked Spirit Breaker, it just felt so off because it ruined what we consider to be like the lane meta of this tournament, and it just didn't fit in with the heroes they wanted to play on the cores. So, got to fix that.
You got to fix that, and when you are in the lower bracket, playing on comfort is sometimes really good, sometimes a trap. Let's see which one of the two it is if we're heading into the first game.
Team Spirit versus Team Liquid. Game 1.
Let's see how this one will come together. We are in the draft of game 1 of this lower bracket match between Team Liquid and Team Spirit. And for the first game, we've got Team Liquid on the Radiant side and Team Spirit on the Dire side. And the Bounty Hunter that we saw so many times over the last 2 days has made it to an overall first ban coming out from Team Spirit. Team Spirit is the team that has got first pick, so they also opt to ban it. Even though they would have had the chance to pick it, they do not want to see that in their game. Also means that Team Liquid has overall last pick, and they'll try to get some strategic advantage out of that one. Earth Spirit and Lina removed from the pool as well, and I would not be surprised to see a couple of those comfort heroes for Nisha being removed, especially after he highlighted that that's the reason why the series against Falcons went their way. There's another one of his comforts already out, is the Ember Spirit. Other than those heroes, what do we want to see out of this one, Winter?
I mean, outside of heroes, I think the contrast between these two teams are going to be like the way they're going to be approaching the game. I think Liquid against Spirit, you do not want to go late against Spirit. Spirit is really good mid-late game. So you kind of want to try to step on the gas and accelerate the game. I think that should be their primary plan, and heroes like Nature's Prophet will be like on top of my head. Like you want to be able to get towers, get map control, and you want to be able to do more attacking. I think Team Spirit, they are very good at defending, but if you're Liquid, I don't think you want to be on the defending side.
But you can see from the bans, right, of Liquid, they've kind of taken 4 heroes that are very good at kind of counter-engaging to stop you from making these aggressive moves, right? Bane, Earthroot Tree, just exceptional heroes at just punishing bad positioning. Slardar as well to the same level. He picks up a Blink, has Shard. You're going to disappear if you're overstepping. So I think Liquid is ready to try and be aggressive with their bans already.
I mean, that also means that with the Slardar ban, they are maybe thinking about like Invoker right away. And okay, so Spirit is just going to pick Wyvern, which is, I think, other than Bounty Hunter, this is like a very, very strong support, an upcoming support that kind of got a lot more popularity during the playoffs.
Can they puck on 9 here? Or is that a bit too greedy?
Do you like Puck?
I mean, I'm just thinking of like the classics, Liquid, Nisha. But again, it's more of an
nice.
18. On second pick Puck. And
Good.
second phase close. Sorry, I forgot the numbers.
Yeah.
I love numbers. Anyway, Shadow Fiend, sure, that's more of a staple pick.
Yeah, this hero's felt, I don't know, unbeatable. Whenever I watch it, the amount of farm it gets is just unreal, and the amount of damage it does also unreal. I've seen like the Nature's Prophet versus Shadow Fiend match up enough times now where I feel like Spirit could pick that one.
I mean, I don't know about like everyone, but when I play the Wyvern, I kind of always like being on the side against the SF, because Wyvern, the one thing you have, or a couple of things you have against SF is you're very good at gate ganking. You can go across the map and ganking, because SF is the most vulnerable, one of the most vulnerable heroes in the early game. You want to be able to shut him down. And later in the game, the Cold Embrace is great against SF. And SF is very dependent on BKB, and Wyvern has a BKB piercing spell. So I always felt like this matchup is kind of okay, like I like being on the Wyvern side against SF, but as we've seen yesterday and the day before, SF is a very, very strong hero. And back to the pacing part where I said that Liquid, they have to play fast, and this is one of the fastest carry you can play in the current meta.
Yeah, I mean, the counterpoint to all of that is if SF is winning its lane, then the Win to Wyvern Twin Gate rotation won't do as much, because the SF's winning lane will already be taking the fight, will already getting the kills, and then he's going to have immense farm, so...
So the secondary part of this strategy when you have Wyvern is you want to use your second phase bans to remove the bodyguards. And after you remove the bodyguards, you want to try to create a lane, a duo, a very strong duo that gives you kill opportunities against the SF. Like something like, I don't think we'll be able to see the Dawn. I think the Dawn will be banned, because Dawn is one of the... actually, no, it's Spirit, so never mind. But I'm just trying to illustrate the example where against SF, you want like a Dawn, you want a hero that can just go on him and kill him in the laning phase.
Could you supplement that with something like Nature's Prophet carry matchup where you can then TP in and...
You can definitely do that. Nature's Prophet is really, really good at that. You TP in, you drop the treants in front of him, you kill him, you take the tower. I think taking the tower is also the second part of the plan. You kill him, but you also must ensure that you have a way to take the tower either with creeps, heroes with summons, or you have heroes with helm. So you can take the tower and remove the jungle, because the camps are the important part. You need to seize control of the camps behind the safe lane tower and in front of the tower, the 4 camps. If you can remove the tower, the SF doesn't get to farm them, then it's good for you.
But you're also describing a whole scenario where it's like you need your mid lane matchup to go well on your side, because if you have to take the tower from the Shadow Fiend, you need to stop him doing his natural satanic Yatoro level of farm. Of course, Mickey can do it as well. Then you need your mid lane matchup to go well, because they'll TP in, they'll counter gank, they'll stop all this aggression. So again, it's the joy of the setup. Again, they're taking their time actually quite heavily with the ban from Liquid, and then Spirit, they just take away Clock and Tusk, the map moving roaming supports, which. I mean, they're the most kind of obvious ones for SF, but you have to kind of ban them out.
There's so many heroes. I think that's what I feel when I look at these bans, because they remove Clock Tusk, and I think those give the most amount of kill potential in lane with SF, but then you still have bodyguards. You still have Undying in the pool. There's also people were... using Jakiro as a substitute for a while, which also gives you kill threat in the lane, but there's also still more saves if you want to play more like that. Ringmaster still does a lot of damage in the lane, but can also protect the SF in lane. I think they have so many options. Yeah. And there's the Invoker you mentioned earlier with the Slardar ban.
Yeah, and Puck ban.
Yeah.
Those two heroes have very, very good matchup against the Invoker. There's still some more, like Void Spirit. Void Spirit is also another hero, which I don't know if you're going to see it, but it's also another hero that has a very, very good... Like, if you look at the stats, it's one of those mid-heroes that has a very good win rate against Invoker, because Invoker spells can... I don't want to say never, but usually it never lands on the Void Spirit, because you can just dodge them.
It's also cool because like Liquid's not allowing, like Spirit's quite a creative team, we already mentioned that. They have wide hero pools, and it's like, we're just gonna lock in our core straight away. We don't care about like your playbook. It's like, look at our heroes, try and counter us, and Spirit, they do go for the
I mean,
centaur.
it's not just really about that, you know, because when you talk about the pick sequence, we don't really generally get a chance to discuss a lot about that. But I believe during the second phase team, when you open your draft and then you go into the ban phase, you get to ban a hero in the second phase and then you exit the ban phase into a pick.
Protecting it, yeah, of
And
course,
I
yeah.
think those two sections during the draft, they are very valuable for you. So I always feel like if I can ever use that for picking a core, I would try to do it.
Yeah, there's not many heroes that can actually have one ban into getting the pick, but of course, because of the previous setup, it can work. So I think it's like Liquid and I think LGD, they're the ones that do this more often than other teams if they are able to do it. And in Spirit, they, again, like we already mentioned, they have the Centaur with the Helm of Dominator. That's going to be your progression. Having Stampede and any displacement to kite away from Invoker spell combo is very important. We saw that yesterday with Yandex when Malady was using Wind Wakers and 4-stars and whatever. And they go for their Bangalore. So they're not trying to flex anything, of course, because they see the Invoker, so they're happy to just
They see both
lane
lanes,
matchup.
so they
Exactly.
just pick both the cores here right away, just to make sure that they get the cores that they want to. And I really like the Pangolier here against like the Invoker matchup as well, because you get to kill off the Forge Breakers. Every time when you see Invoker mid, you're always thinking about whether you can have heroes that can kill off that pesky summon. You know, he's gonna send it to deny the rune, but for Pangolier, he doesn't really care about it that much.
I like roll up as well on the shard to just kind of help disengage the combos. I do think when you pick this SF and Invoker, it does mean that you're not able to support them as strongly. Like, I think when we see SF, the drafting that follows feels quite simple. Usually we do see a lot of Centaurs because their teams are aiming to be able to buy the Ags and keep him protected, but by picking Invoker, you give that Centaur away to Spirit instead. So this hero, whilst it can be good for them, it also acts as a deny pick.
Yeah, right now Liquid, they're gonna have to look for their stuns and bodyguards for the cores. They have one stun here, but they need a setup still. They go Willow plus Mirana. I guess the other top tier setup heroes are all mostly banned, and Willow is always a great support against all those Spirit mid heroes. And Pangolier, I would say, he's kind of like a Spirit-esque mid hero where you can run around and roam, and you're kind of vulnerable before you get the shot, like you mentioned the shot. Before you get the shot, you're always very vulnerable to getting killed by the Dark Willow.
They're going to have just nice map play with Liquid supports, because every time there's going to be an active rune, they're going to press Moonlight Shadow, they're going to go for it. Pango's going to want to go there. You're going to have Willow, you're going to get the kill potentially. If he's dead, then you can break back into the map. So I think Spirit just has to respect the importance of runes against Mirana. It's always something to be mindful. And interesting, they went for the Willow to try and counterplay the Centaur, the kind of the Stampede aspect of the fights, rather than trying to find a support to stop Pangolier during his role. And there is the just profit from Spirit. And Liquid, they have no real body to protect still. It's kind of like...
Yeah, it's very, very dangerous here for Liquid. They have a Mirana. I guess most of the top bodies that you pick in the lane are kind of banned. And you mentioned the Undying, maybe they feel like they just didn't really want to go that route, because that would have actually been like a kind of like a decent body.
I think I like Mirana Willow though, because they both just give so much damage and kill threat to you.
Yeah, but the lane, like the focus here is the lane, because the Nature's Prophet is going to be tipping in, and you do not have the best bodyguard in the lane to protect the SF. You know, Mirana, if you're standing next to the SF, you see a Nature's Prophet tipping in when the Centaur stuns the SF. What can you actually do to protect the SF?
And what if not me plays like Techies or something, and then you have like Techies jumping in, Prophet coming in, like there's so much like...
Okay, but then potentially they can pick a offlaner that's a little bit more self-sustaining, and then they can use the gate and rotate the supports more to help give SF that like advantage early, where they don't then feel a threat.
He needs people beside him a lot of the early game. I think if Liquid can actually do that, that would be great. But Team Spirit, right now, they definitely have the advantage in terms of being the aggressor. They have the advantage of being the white pieces here. They are going to attack the SF, and SF is a very vulnerable target. And Invoker is also not the best hero to protect the SF, because you need a lot of farm on Invoker. You want to hit creeps, you're just waiting, oh, I have a Sunstrike kill. Sure, you know, I'm going to drop a Sunstrike, but outside of that, he's not really going to be moving too much.
So we need two more heroes here. One for the side of Team Spirit in the hands of Not Me, so the position 4. We already have one banned out. Waiting for Liquid to ban the other, and we need a hero for Ace on the side of Team Spirit, the offlane, as Hoodwink is the one that gets removed. One of his classics is still in Rubik, but I don't know if you
Rubik,
want to play that
SD,
here.
both are very good here. The SD with the Centaur, very good in the lane, and the SD is very good at saving against the Dark Willow and the Mirana combo. So those are really, really good options. SD is also very nice against SF, because you make illusions of him and you get his aura and you kill him.
if they do want more save, there's also Ringmaster, but I think I prefer Rubik.
I think everybody prefers.
Everyone wants to see
him.
Rubik.
Yeah. I will be the
Shadow
shadow.
and boring.
Yeah,
All right.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's also good.
I'm just so worried about this mid game. If your Shadow Fiend survives and life is good, playing into Moonlight Shadow and the Ghost Walk on Invoker for Nature's Prophet is like so terrifying because he just always wants to play away from his team and teleport in. So you are so vulnerable. And the amount of like sentries, gem investment that Spirit's going to have to make is going to really cause a lot of stress right now.
You're gonna be hunted.
Yeah, that's why Liquid needs a bodyguard, like something like a Mars. I know this hero is not great, but they need something to actually protect. I don't think they can go any more greedier on the offlane hero.
I'm scared, right? Like, if
Yeah.
they're a Dawnbreaker, then it's like a hero that's always
they have
waiting.
they have three carries.
Exactly, like you're
And
waiting for someone to start.
You need like the Mars because you can set up for the arrow, and it's really good with the Terrorize. It's good with the Sunstrikes. It's good with the SF Requiem, and it's good against the Centaur Stampede. You know, so I think that could be a pick to solve the problems here.
Ooh, does Timbersaw fit the bill?
It's a very different route, very similar to Dawn. The idea with the Timber here is he wants to draw the attention away from the SF. And if you leave and gank the SF, guess what? The Timber is another carry farming away.
Yeah, and also it's like you can play the lane into the Nature's Prophet and you don't really care about anything. Sure, there's a bit of Shadow Demon interaction into your ags, like how annoying, but you don't need to buy it. You can just go other routes. That aside, like Winter already mentioned, Ace is pretty much just going to put a massive target on his back. And after the laning phase aggression towards Mickey, he is going to try and do as much as possible to then activate the rest of the team. But Liquid, when you look about the team fight, the stuns, how do they actually make these epic late game scenarios? They've got an arrow, a bramble, a terrorize, and whatever Nisha can muster with his concoction of spells, right? So there is not a lot for Liquid to lean on compared to Spirit, where they have curse and stomps and rolls and whatnot.
I don't think Liquid can survive in the early game. I actually feel this is over their budget. This is too much. This
You
Timber.
said laning phase is not that important, Winter.
I mean, it's mostly for the lane. I think it's
What a
mostly
quote.
the Timber is mostly for the laning phase, and right now they have a tri-core setup which is very, very greedy. They want to get to the late game, but I don't think they're going to be able to get to the late game.
Ooh, spooky.
I actually feel differently. I think Liquid, especially if they can play the first like minute, maybe bring like the two supports to the lane and like get some early kills and inject that bit of net worth so you get like your first starting stat item. I think their lanes could be more robust than we think. And then in the mid game, I don't know, they have so much more damage. Their ability to rotate on mid is so much stronger. I think they're going to fight for runes in a really nice way. I really like Liquid's lineup.
It's a lot of focus, I feel like, than on the two supports on the side of Liquid.
100%. Like, so far, I think this TI is about what supports have got Wind Wakers, how have they used their 4 stuffs, how many times have we spoken about this so far? And in this game with Tofu and Boxy, if your team fight isn't that strong, it's about positioning. And I think the support's positioning will be important. Are they there for the runes? Do they have the right items to keep the SF alive, to help Nisha clutch up, to give Ace the tempo he needs? So I think Liquid, they have the tools, but it's a very hard game because of the lack of stuns and kind of team fight. But they can do it if they're ready to win TI.
They have to just make sure they don't bleed too much in the early stages of the game. And if we learn anything from Team Spirit, they seem to be wanting to focus on a maybe more Team Vision-esque style where they focus on gaining a lot of net worth. I know it sounds very exciting, which might actually allow Team Spirit to have that space that they really want in the early stages of the game. Of course, it is in a lower bracket. We're going to have to find out how much pressure we are going to feel when the players are on that stage and playing, because yesterday we definitely had a couple of moments, I'm looking at you, Falcons and Liquid, whereas not all spells were pressed correctly, but of course that is all part of the competition. Let's head into game number 1, but first some words from Coach Maposhka.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are here with Maposhka from Team Spirit. So good to see you again. You have been in this position many times. You have seen the TI meta develop. Not your first rodeo. What's it like to be playing so late in TI where all the heroes that are good are kind of known? Do you stick to what you know or do you stick to the meta?
I would say nothing special, actually. I mean, as you said, I did it many times in the lower bracket, but previously it was when I was a player, so it's of course a bit different. But no. If you ask about like meta heroes, yes, like do we play meta or no? I mean, of course, we try to find like our best heroes for every position, and trying to adapt always. And during this tournament, we also adapt. Like we play with some heroes which we are not not used to play previously. So we're always trying to find a good solution for us. And yeah.
Well, the game is already underway, so let's get into it. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll throw it to our casters.
Thank you. Just in time for the first blood for Mickey on the SF. Could not ask for a better start, a better first blood target for Liquid specifically. As we get into this lower bracket match between Liquid and Spirit, this is going to be a hype best of 3. Cinderin, how are you?
I am so ready to see this game because I feel like there's a lot of questions I have about this. Okay, hang on. Mickey immediately on the receiving end. This is a ton of damage.
Yeah, trying to get under that tier 1 tower. Will survive just barely. Only has a fairy fire right now, but something being delivered. Oh, some nice tangos. All right.
So something that stood out to me in the draft, you saw the win rate pop up on the screen, is that Liquid have picked Mirana twice this tournament. They've lost both games. Hoodwink was right there. And both Boxy and Tofu have shown exceptional play on that hero. Yeah. So I wonder what gives. Like, what are they seeing in this particular hero for this game? Is it specifically because they wanted Moonlight Shadow? Because as far as I'm concerned, with the games you and I have cast, I've just been super impressed with the level of Hoodwink play and the impact that hero has in seemingly every single game. Whereas Mirana's a little bit more hit or miss.
The last series we cast was Liquid, and I said Tofu was the MVP in my book.
It was 8-0 and 22 then.
Exactly. It was just an absurd performance. And you're going against the Nature's Prophet, too, so you have extra trees to work with. His root, gonna get gone on now. Shadow Realm will... Oh, actually, nice juke there on the trees. Creates one just for himself. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Maybe there's a matchup against, I don't know, a Wyvern or something to that effect, or the Shadow Demon. We don't get to see Shadow Demon all too often.
Yeah, it's a really good pick here, though. I think that's one of my favorite picks of the draft. Spirit, I mean, it's not a surprising pick, so to speak. They've run it before. It's just, there's a lot of upsides to that hero in this game. The panel covered it. It's good to disrupt the Shadow Demon. It's Shadow Fiend, excuse me. Good with the Centaur. I think there's some... Actually, this is a really good game for Demonic Cleanse. We don't get to say that all that often, but I think maybe you buy the Shard this game.
Yeah.
Invoker, Willow both hate Dispels, and you have a constant Dispel you can put on an ally. Would be really good this game. And in addition to what I talked about with the Hoodwink, I also wonder what they're seeing in the Timbersaw here. I understand the laning match with Prophet and Wyvern might be quite good, but I kind of share Winter's sentiment that this might be a little bit too greedy. You're effectively leaving the entirety of the playmaking up to a Willow and an Invoker who you know is going to go Meteor Hammer in jungle for a bit because that's what they do literally every single game. If there were a game where you would play Kloss Wex, this would be the one. He's still not doing it. So that build is just dead. Like,
apparently.
I can't think of a better game to do it.
Would you say it's harder execution then for Liquid? Because they don't have that, I mean, you kind of alluded to it, but they don't have the traditional initiator, right? It's just,
right.
You have this Timbersaw who's frontlining, but nobody's really starting the fight necessarily.
That's my biggest issue, is doing that. So yeah, I agree. I think in terms of execution, it's, at least it's less straightforward. As it is with Dota, though, you can kind of cover almost any weakness of any lineup through items. So as long as you get through the lanes and have a decent mid game, you can, generally speaking, cover for your issues. You can compensate with items, but yeah, that's where the Nature's Prophet for me is going to be the big test for Liquid here. Is you need to survive. If you're not behind at minute 20 or 25, I think this game can be quite stable and really good for you. And obviously, not going to question Nisha's ability to win any game on Invoker. But yeah, you need to be careful you don't get rolled.
Literally, as Laurel is playing the Pangolier with Rolling Thunder, level 5 right now. Bullying Nisha a bit. You can see 25-7 for Laurel, where Nisha at 18-3. I mean, I'm used to watching Invoker just lose lanes.
Yeah.
Is there any hero he wins again? He's getting on again, Laurel. He's very aggressive.
Boxing him in here.
Cold Snap comes out just to get some last hits for Nisha. TP coming. Swashbuckle's there. That's just a kill for Laurel. Boxy a little bit too late. He's going to get some solo XP, but my goodness. Laurel now level 6 as well, so if there's a rotation coming through, which looks like the Shadow Demon's on the way, if they can kill the Invoker again, that would be just crippling for Liquid in this mid lane.
Yeah, Larlo's going to need some resources, though. He sent out a second Clarity. The reason Nisha cold snapped him was that he had Bottle and Clarity running, and he just wanted to stop him getting more resources, but he still got enough for a last Swashbuckle, and yeah, that's the thing. Invoker, pretty vulnerable in this lane, and if you need to start pulling over support to mid, that means you are not making a single move. And as a result, I think that Spirit's side lane cores will both be very happy. And of course, keep an eye on Nature's Prophet, always the wild card in these mid moves.
Yeah.
Yatoro at any point could just show up behind Nisha. No point in Wex yet.
Good arrow. Don't think there's going to be any follow-up here, though. I mean, at the same time, Ace is also going to be happy on the Timber Saw. I mean, I feel like in terms of melee heroes, the hero that loves solo experience the most is Laurel, taking a little bit of damage from Tofu. Get back under that tier 1, though.
Yeah, it's true.
First illusion is the illusion, or first rune rather is the illusion.
Timber is definitely going to be completely A-okay up here alone. Even if he gets to play 1v2 against Wyvern Prophet, once he hits level 5, should be just able to farm quite stably. Courtesy of reactive armor.
We've talked a bit about how Liquid are lacking the initiation, but can Spirit deal with the Timber Saw? Going to hold that thought as Mickey. You can see Yatoro TPing in, and this is the downside of Shadow Fiend. Very, very susceptible to ganks, especially when the Nature's Prophet's in the game.
This was always going to happen, and this is going to be Liquid's big challenge in the next 10 to 15 minutes is how do you put out the fires? Because I have a hard time seeing them getting ahead. So it's so incredibly crucial that the supports have good map reads and are in the right place at the right time, because technically speaking, Spirit, if one support is missing on the map, any of the 3 lanes could be under attack. Prophet can always join. Both of their supports have decent, damage and utility. So, and at the same time, even if Liquid are there, what's the protection, right? Like, are you going to save the Shadow Fiend there if Mirana's there? I don't think so. Are you going to save her with Willow? I mean, maybe Willow with some good brambles can create some spacing for Mickey, but I still think either support being there would have still been a kill. And that's why if Quaswex were a thing, that would have been nice.
Indeed, Laurel taking quite a bit of damage.
So is Nisha,
For the
though.
Rolling Thunder going back right on top of Nisha as the supports have come through. The Shadow Demon Disruption is very awkward. Does get the connection and the kill in the end. A little bit sloppy from Spirit. And Laurel might pay the price as the Star Storm finishes the job for Tofu. Looking for a double kill. Will get it. Okay, actually, Foxy took 1 kill.
Yeah, that disruption might have actually cost them 2 heroes. Because I think they were getting the kill regardless, but it took longer, and it gave Liquid the time to rotate in, so... I want to say a rare mistake here for Not Me, who has had I would argue, an incredibly impressive rookie year at TI so far. It's been a very welcome addition to Spirit.
First game of the day, Cinderin.
Most people didn't even know who he was when he joined the team. Like, that's pretty rare to see somebody join a tier 1 team with... I mean, generally speaking, when you do get scouted, you have some tier 2 and tier 3 experience, but he did have, but...
I mean, I
probably
think
in the lower...
that's a sign of a good scene if that is going to continue to happen. We want the new blood to come in, Cinderin. We don't want people like you just sticking around a little bit too long.
Okay. Thanks.
Escape Gaming comes to mind as Yatoro.
What is this?
Sorry, it's a little too early for the banter. As
My brain doesn't work before noon.
yeah, I've noticed that.
Be careful.
Apologies to the viewers in advance for you. Brambles right on top of Yatoro. Ace is level 7. Nice disruptor from Not Me, though. As they can try to turn this around, Rue makes his way over in addition. And Ace slowed up big time, getting to take the swashbuckle with another rotation from Laurel. So 4 members of Spirit come over and destroy Ace in turn.
Yatoro not getting any of the last hits on the kills. It's going to mean that he is currently tied with Mickey for net worth. Of course, the grand prize here is not the Timber Saw, it is the tower that will be going down, courtesy of the Trance. This is something that Winter was talking about on the panel as well. You're playing into that Shadow Fiend, you want to take the tower, and there's multiple ways of doing it. You can have something like Summons or a Dawn Creep. Well, how about both? They've got Treants and the Hellbear Smasher currently working for them. I think it's just a matter of time before Yatoro's next move will be in that bot lane, and if that's successful, you're losing a second side lane tower for sure. No shot Liquid defend that if the move is successful prior.
Yep, and Collapse going for, I want to say, the EWC standard build, which is Helm directly into Heart. So he's going to be very, very farmed this game if he's able to get that at a good time.
It's a very good Lotus game.
I mean, I would expect him to go for that later. But
Yeah.
I mean, these games, we've seen games go very long at this tournament. That's why I'm questioning why people are not just going Heart second if you know it's going to go late. As long as the game's not out of control, which right now is very even.
Yeah.
I don't see the downside, really.
This ward could pay dividends later. Once again, when you do have that profit, even ganking a little bit out of the way places becomes a lot easier.
Tofu, okay. It's going to be just fine. Nisha comes over, gets the tornado. Starstorm from Tofu as well. Not Me is definitely dead. Laurel does have to be a bit careful. Is shadowed by Collapse on the Centaur, who does not want to fight. He's just posing a big fat presence.
Yep, that's the bottom tower with his Dawn creep. He's happy. But I think so far, 11 minutes in, probably rather happy if you're Liquid with the fact that this hasn't been worse than this. Only the 4 kills. Sure, you've lost your 2 side lane towers. That was probably going to happen, but all 3 of your cores are at a very competitive net worth. Nisha being the bottom of them is maybe not the best sign, but it's Invoker. He's about to take Meteor Hammer. And, oh, I was about to say that's some stacks, but there's another guy who wants a piece of that.
I mean, I think the panel also mentioned, but one issue with the Invoker this game is there's no real good Sunstrike setup, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you get the arrow, which they don't have really a great setup for that, it's like Bramble, I guess. But
That's not the easiest.
that would have been one way to get Invoker a little bit more farm in the early stages of the game.
I'm surprised they gave the stacks to Timber, actually. I don't know if that's the right choice in this game. I think he was slated to just have a free farm time up top for quite a while regardless.
But it's Ace.
It is. He loves creeps.
Who is Ace if he does not take all the farm in the jungle as the offlaner? Always playing these thick boys. Timber saw no exception to that. Laurel, posing a presence to this tier 1 mid. Nisha, spotted Root, looking for the opening. Get the slow to start, but not going to commit to anything. Tango's pretty low, actually. Might have to use the rolling thunder here pretty soon. They're going to try to get the Sunstrike, but the Disruption's going to dodge basically everything. Laurel doesn't have mana right now to use the rolling thunder, but Nisha extremely low. Shadow Realm available.
That was
for some damage
really
onto
good
Laurel.
Tornado timing. If he hits that swashbuckle, Nisha is dead. Caught him mid-swash.
Not fully committing his spirit, kind of just
Don't get the tower, though.
playing the tower, and yet they will clean it up eventually. Mickey, though, makes his rotation over, gets the raise, arrow coming, not going to hit. Sunstrike going to be dodged. Laurel, just fine. Has the Diffusal Blade now, going to go for the Shard into Blink Axe.
I was going to say, surely Rue is going to heal him. He's just holding out to Cold Embrace the entire time, and then he heals himself. Look out for your boy, man. Laurel is low.
Maybe he took that extra piece of toast at breakfast.
Yeah, personal vendetta. I'm sure they ran out.
That would be something.
You ever been to a breakfast where they ran out of toast? I don't think I've ever experienced that.
Yeah, but remember they were at a hotel where they ran out of toilet paper, right?
Oh.
That was Spirit, and that was the year they won TI.
Yeah.
They need a little adversity to be able to get over the hump.
That must be the secret.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come to think of it, I don't think I ever ran out of toilet paper at my TI appearances, so you must be right. The stats don't lie.
100% win rate, from what we can figure out. Same time here, Cinder. Nice segue onto Tofu playing the Mirana.
Yeah. Speaking of toilet paper, Tofu is 0 and 2 on Mirana.
I was just thinking of the food Tofu. You know? It's just,
Oh.
Goodness.
All right, smoke
Aura
from
on
Spirit.
Oh, Nisha.
Yeah, nice
Thunder,
connection, and he is
Blade.
already dead.
Absolutely. Very quick kill. TP is not even remotely close. So another great pickoff for Spirit. getting a little bit of separation now in terms of net worth. You can see Yatoro leading the way as you're used to seeing on the Nature's Prophet. But in terms of pacing, you still think that Liquid are happy with the way things are going? Obviously, the Invoker's a bit of a anomaly.
He is having a rough one on Nisha. I mean, it's definitely significantly worse than it was a few minutes ago. This time they lost the mid tower plus Nisha as well again. Now up to 3 deaths. It's just like looking at the big picture of how bad I was envisioning this could go. This is in like the better half at least of potential outcomes. I think there's almost, if these two teams play this draft 10 times, I feel like Spirit win the early game 9 out of 10. And in maybe 3 or 4 of them, they're up 5k now. So, you know, it could be way worse for Liquid because of how little they've bled, relatively speaking. But it's not going to get immediately easier now. Now you've lost your front row of defense on the towers. You can see Spirit are placing really good offensive wards. They have one around the enemy secret shop. They have one around the waterways down bottom, and actually one around the double coverage there with the river. So they are going to see Liquid movements. They are going to want to pounce on them between Stampede, Prophet Teleportation, and obviously Pango being a complete beast right now. Yeah, the worst is yet to come. If Liquid can keep this at a 1k for 10 minutes, that's when the items are going to change everything. But they need to still weather the storm.
Oxy, single swashbuckler brings him to half health.
Yep. Always a fun hero to play support against Pango. Half your spells don't work.
Unless you're Bane.
And yeah, well, there's a few supports that do like it.
I think they're going to go through the gate.
Yeah, Mickey
SF is the target.
They might have seen him go right before the ward expired. I think they definitely did.
Okay, he is running in the correct direction. They don't scan it out. They miss on the scan at least, but they continue on.
Good thing this hero farms camps really fast so you can get out in time.
They're going to see that these creeps recently perished. Mickey to the north now. So close, and now he's within safety of the tier 2 tower. Not me, his smoke breaks, so now the Tofu in the tree line's gonna be spotted here. For the Rolling Thunder from Laurel, not able to find the connection, has to self-disrupt, and that's gonna be a dead Shadow Demon. The Liquid, very fortunate.
That is just such
like a half-second difference between finding the SF and not.
It's such a good read from Mickey to not go to the Mud Golems on the left as part of his farming rotation, but realizing, okay, they've been missing for just long enough that this is a real, there's a very high probability that I am getting ganked, so he goes north to the other camps in protection of his team and avoids a very nasty situation.
Laurel has the damage room. Nisha can obviously take that off with the tornadoes. Mickey gets a little bit of vision. Bramble's right on top. He has his shard apparently. Gets off the shield crash as well, but he still blows up regardless. Very nicely done from Liquid, obviously knowing that the Rolling Thunder was down, just to roll up.
It's going to give some more space to Nisha, who desperately needs it. Finding some recovery. Now Blink Dagger picked up from Rue.
Pretty fast.
Decent timing. Sitting at 19 minutes. This is a rather difficult Wyvern game, I would say. You have one hero you want to curse next to, which is Shadow Fiend. He's the only one who's really going to kill anyone. The enemy hero's nature of... Oh, not me.
A bit of trouble. Bedlam doing a good amount of damage. Disruption into the Sunstrike as Ace comes in to finish the job. Tofu actually getting the last hit there is Ace now taking the brunt of the damage from Spirit. Drained of his mana. Killed off. A great turn of events for Spirit, losing a support for the offlane carry. And yeah, Tofu looks to be next on the list. Yatoro with a double kill on the Nature's Prophet.
You'll eat Tofu all day.
Oh yeah, good protein.
That's going to be the BKB. So what was I saying? Yeah, for Wyvern, the challenge in this game is that Cold Embrace is just really bad, right? Timbersaw is one of the nightmare matchups for that. All of his damage is pure. Invoker is a nightmare matchup. All of his damage is magic. Willow, Mirana. Shadow Fiend as a carry is even mixed because he can go for the raises. So Cold Embrace will just be exceptionally difficult to use. And the curse is hard because Liquid's lineup inherently doesn't really stack on top of each other. It's 4 ranged heroes plus a Timber jumping around. So Rue, I think this could have potentially been a game where Blink is not the choice, but rather something like Glimmer Force. I find myself almost always loving the dagger, but this is one of those games that it'll be very impressive if he finds high impact plays with anything except maybe one good curse this game. So keep your eyes on that. Tormentor will go to Spirit. Rue will get the Cold Embrace upgrade, ironically, after that monologue.
Right? I mean, do you think the damage aspect of this, is it just icing?
Yeah.
How often is it useful, would you say? Because you have to, it feels like it's, usually you're not going to get anything out of it when you're using Cold Embrace as a save, feels like. Especially with this much magic and pure damage on Liquid's side.
Yeah, a lot of the time when you get Cold Embraced, you reset after, right? It's to buy time in order to get out and then maybe go back in again, but then the buff is gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's situationally good.
Because you're not going to be using it initially. Okay, we're going to hold that thought. Ace in a bit of trouble. Moonlight Shadow on him, but they have the vision and they have the kill. The Toro there in numbers.
Yeah, that number is 1.
Plus his 3 teammates.
Okay. So Spirit.
Yes.
Yep, got it. Okay.
I mean, Yotaro is such a huge personality, Cinder. He can be there in numbers.
Yes, a split personality. We've got good and bad Yotaro showing up to this gank.
No, that's not true. Different hair, Yotaro. That's his personality. He's all natural now. And we have Roche being attempted by Spirit.
Oh, collapse. Big damage.
Spotted. Right click from Mickey. My goodness, the alacrity just going ham. And just like that, Spirit have to abandon the Roche attempt.
Ooh, this is really awkward. 40 seconds on Centaur. If they knew that Roche was being started, they could actually go for it themselves. Instead, though, on the prowl for Laurel, nice sidestep. Not going to get clipped by that tornado.
So Collapse gets a Soul Ring. Is that literally just for EMP?
I think that's a very big part of it, if not the entire reason, yeah.
I can't remember last time I've seen it on Centaur.
That's true. I mean, there's a lot of strength offlaners that you wouldn't necessarily think would buy it, but it's just, there's so much farming in Dota that it's value. But Centaur specifically doesn't need mana to farm, so it has to be an EMP solution. How much mana does EMP drain with max swags?
Do the math.
How do you even see that when you're spectating?
I don't.
Invoker's a little bit special. You can't just ask to see the spell.
You want to chat GPT it real quick?
No.
Double checking.
I don't. So Centaur's current mana pool is, what's that, 765?
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue, is his mana pool in general.
If he gets EMP'd, he can't use Stampede and Stomp without the Soul Ring, so that has to be.
Probably drains around 400.
I think it's, yeah, it might even be 500 when he's maxed.
Got his shard now, so gets to farm by walking.
Yep, very nice.
Your favorite.
Congratulations, you can buy Shard on Invoker. Or Arteezy would say if you were here.
Daedalus now online for Yotaro, so still keeping up that net worth, has a 3K separation between him and Mickey. I mean, for a Nature's Prophet, how much do you want to be up versus the, I guess, SF in this particular?
I think this is kind of par for the course. Maybe this is slightly better than expectation. Well, if you ignore the surrounding factors, let's say both heroes just get to have a great time, which they often do because they're safe laners. Good for you. Yeah, this is probably roughly expected in this patch from what we've seen from other teams in the tournament. Obviously, we're going to be comparing them to the elite level, so let's compare the potential of Shadow Fiend as well as Nature's Prophet 2. How well has Satanic done? Then I think this is probably maybe a little under for SF and on par for Prophet. Kind of checks out with how the game has gone, right? Just 3-1 on Prophet. SF has died once.
Yeah,
that's a good burst.
Very nice burst. They're going to kill onto the Mirana as a result. The Rolling Thunders. He's able to get saved by the Cold Embrace at the last moment, though. Still inside that Rolling Thunder. Ace with the BKB. Mickey looking for the Rec Room. Gets it off, but they're trying to TP out. Taking the right-click damage. He's barely going to survive. Mickey with a just 10% HP. Able to get back in time. They're going to lose 3 overall, though, so the fight still goes the way of Spirit. And Now they are in a decent amount of control,
Damn.
which means Roche should be on the table.
But it's Hip Roo. That was perfect. He finds a 3-man curse onto Mirana with Shadowfiend being one of the attackers, and a clean cold embrace on the Pangol, who was in absolute peril against Shadowfiend there. Just wasted off the entire BKB with a cold embrace. These were two spells that were not inherently obviously going to get great impact, but they find the perfect moment for both. And now their grand prize will probably be Roche, I would imagine.
He's back to full HP, but you can see Liquid not remotely close to this right now, so he could be a freebie in the end. I would assume that Yatoro does claim it himself. Marl getting close to finishing his Aghanim Scepter, about 300 away. Yatoro does indeed take it. So we saw the BKB for Nisha, and it's going to be an Octarine core next for Ace, Shivas. So we're going to see a lot of larger spells coming out of these cores pretty soon. And Mickey, of course, well, I say of course, goes for, I mean, is this, would you call this a hybrid build right now?
I feel like it's always a hybrid build if you have Yashikaya, right? Like if you want to commit fully in the right-click direction, this is a skippable item. So, yeah, it's hybrid, but it definitely is hybrid if you go Blink. Then you're not even playing into the right click fully after the Ashikaya.
You think they'll have enough physical damage in this game?
I guess Daedalus is probably fine, but...
Marl, right on top of Tofu again. Dunzo.
This is getting out of hand.
Yeah, the map is in control of Spirit now. 8K lead.
Being down against Nature's Prophet in Dota history just feels so bad. Like, it's...
It used to feel worse, though, to be fair. The 25 towns are fake.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, if we want to remember the worst part of every hero, then that one was definitely Prophet's.
Yep, I would attest to that.
It's insanely fun.
Ace. He finds Rue, but I think this might be the other way around. It has to use the BKB because Yatoro has shown up. Laurel as well. Gets off the Timber Chain to the low ground, attempting the TP, but the curse cancels it out. Because the high ground is Lacquerty. Not 2 shots Rue, but he survives. Laurel does take out Ace in the end, and now Mickey on the run. Deafening Blast to hold Yatoro at bay. Remember, he does have the Aegis. First crown, about to pop. Gets the cold embrace, and he does get taken out. So that's life number 1, but Mickey taking a ton of damage from Laurel. Now he has backups of his teammates. The Washbuckle in the end for Laurel gives him enough space to get away. This might be a full reset as Yatoro going in really deep to kill off the SF. Some balls on that young man. So 2 cores dead for Liquid. Was definitely not expecting that.
The classic Giga Chat, TP in 1v3 under the enemy tower to kill the Karen and just walk it off.
Insane.
I mean, he kept track of the abilities. There was nothing left. There's nothing countering your BKB in this game. If you just BKB TP in on Prophet, you know Shadowfiend doesn't have resources to fight you back. What's going to stop you? There's no BKB piercing stun. There's no inherent save for the guy you're going on. So, yeah, why not just dive them?
Nisha trying to split these waves. Create some time as the backdoor protection will not kick in at times. The tier 2 goes the way of Spirit. No longer with the Aegis, though. I can see the Hydra's breath on Yatoro as well now.
I can't believe Nature's Prophet gets to be the 8th pick of the draft between these two teams. That's actually just mind-blowing.
You've been talking about this hero the entire tournament.
It's so good, and it's against Mickey, who's also incredibly skilled at this hero. They rated Shadowfiend higher. I don't mind that. If you think it's better, I think they're like on par. But then the fact that they didn't ban this going into the second phase, you've seen Yatoro, you've seen Satanic, you know Mickey himself, how good this hero is. I don't know. I don't think you let this hero through in the second phase to any of the specialist teams. It's just too good for me. Yatoro showcasing it here.
Yeah.
525 CS at 30 minutes.
How does that compare to Satanic, would you say?
Close, I think.
1,000 GPM?
Maybe Yatoro watched some replays. Must be weird being the guy everybody learns from for like 3 years, and now maybe there's somebody you can learn from for once.
I think Satanic, at around this stage of the game, had about 900-something GPM. So
I thought you were going to say CS, and I was like, sure, buddy.
Maybe if there was a
That's for the
playing
next
against,
patch. Shannon.
playing
That's
against Enigma and who else?
Broodmother.
Mother.
I have intel. The next patch, the map will be even bigger.
Oh.
We'll have 4 lanes, and yeah, Prophet teleport starts without a cooldown at the beginning of the game.
Oh, that's nice.
So then maybe 900 CS will be obtainable.
Okay.
Meteor trying to wipe out this bottom wave. I mean, you're just playing for time here on Liquid, hoping that you can get to some point of critical mass. If we do go late enough, I think they scale incredibly well.
Nice job from Boxy. Forces out the Rolling Thunder. Didn't have any vision there, but the smoke popped, so they just assumed
Yeah.
that being a waste for Spirit. But still, with that 13K lead, pretty comfortable at the moment. And of course, as usual, Sinner, we need to talk about high ground defense. They have an Invoker. That is maybe...
It's good.
Is there a better hero in the game than Invoker for high ground defense?
If I had to pick one, it's him.
Does he still have that Axe with tornadoes?
The Twisters, yeah.
But usually people go, well, it depends, I guess, on the game.
People don't really buy Ags.
That's true. Ags is, if you have a really good Cataclysm setup, which they do not, then maybe. But yeah. It seems this shard, this current shard on him, has overtaken the Ags, which people used to get for the Tornadoes. He's going to be spotting against the Tornado, speaking of. Has to pop the BKB. Yatoro's there, though. The right clicks are just fearsome. And Nisha falls to the ground. Buys the Octarine in time, but still another death to his name, 60 seconds.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out, Yatoro's actual net worth to damage ratio here is insane because he has bypassed Pike. This is an item you almost always see Prophets buy because they need the mobility, but he's just so overwhelmingly powerful in this game that he's been able to go for the Hydra's Breath. And
wow, they already have every shard? Really?
Yeah.
At 32 minutes?
Yeah, so Shadow Demon
bought it.
So Shadow Demon did buy it, which I'm super happy to see because I just think it's incredibly good this game. The first one they found went to Wyvern, right?
Yeah, that's the only
one.
one.
I would suggest not buying, so it checks out.
Wow.
You could have not bought the Prophet one, I guess, but
Hey, he's got enough of all these.
this is never an issue for Prophet.
I mean, you talked about how it might be more valuable to just get the gold anyway, if you only have one shard left.
Yeah, if your Prophet is...
Because he's farming so well anyway.
Yeah, you're effectively giving gold to your teammates by buying your shard, right?
Yeah. Yep, has that 25 talent. It actually takes the remove teleportation. We're seeing the other one. His arrow will be dodged.
Very close.
Ace looking for the opening. Blinks right in. Rue taking a huge burst damage. Stuck inside the brambles. Now has to use the curse, but dies shortly after. Right clicks now onto Collapse. Mickey. Meanwhile, Nature's Prophet right clicking. Ace able to get the BKB off and trying to retreat with the Timber Chain as Nisha has half HP as well. Collapse no longer has the Stampede as the Ice Wall will block them off. But he still gets the blink into the hoof stop, and that is a lot of damage on Nisha. Has to use the BKB with such a small amount of HP inside the pit. Attempting the TP is fine. Still at heavy cost. They're going to lose Boxy as well. So both supports, a bunch of BKBs down for Liquid.
Yeah, worth keeping in mind, that fight started with a free kill on the Wyvern. So effectively a 5v4 afterwards, and Liquid still cannot come out on top of a single fight this game. The rich get richer. Yatoro now almost has a butterfly, so it's time to replace an item. I'm guessing you just get rid of your treads already?
It's interesting because I know that Mickey is going for Daedalus now, but I wouldn't say he's hitting particularly hard with his build. Collapse. Not able to find the hoof stomp in time. Yeah, we'll be going for the butterfly for that evasion, so we'll see if Mickey chooses to go for an MKB at some point. Because without him right-clicking, I guess Alacrity is what he's really banking on.
Yeah, that is an X factor for the game for sure. Invoker is...
But
did
nobody
not
else
take
is
the
right-clicking.
Alacrity talent, though.
Yeah, so Butterfly is just, it feels like almost a hard counter to this SF, in theory, because it's the only one that can be right-clicking on Yatoro.
It's good. I think this has been, through Yatoro's career, one of the things that impressed me the most about him has been his itemization. I think he, in plenty of games, he's not been afraid of doing something outside of the norm. Not that this in particular is anymore, but just has always had a very good understanding of what he needs to achieve with every item purchase. And I've said this many times on casts before, I find itemizing on hard carries really difficult. With all the options you have and with all the problems that different games present, having that reference for what to buy, even at the elite level, you see players make, I would say, clear mistakes in what items they buy, but it's very rare that it feels like Yotaro did not do the right thing. Yeah. Except this teleport.
Oh boy, Arrow not going to be there because of the BKB. There's an alacrity on Tofu of all heroes. Laurel still looking for a connection. They're inside that Moonlight Shadow, though they actually do find Nisha in the end, and he just gets destroyed by the Stampede. Yotaro gets the last right click. And again, Invoker down and out. Can Liquid fight without him? I don't think so.
What I was talking about there, Shannon. Yotaro's itemization, having BKB this game, genius.
Yeah,
just absolutely
really unusual.
Stellar itemization to have BKB for a situation like that. All right.
Roche number 2. The Belch comes out. This will be a freebie for Spirit.
And another great item for Yotaro here, the Aegis of the Immortal. Good pickup.
Yep. Good choice for Yotaro.
Backpack is BKB, that's a good choice.
Well done. Really glazing him today.
So he's going for Axe next. I mean, you're at the point now where you're just full luxury territory.
He's gonna get rooted. Boxy trying to scare the big bad Yotaro, but obviously with that Aegis not gonna bite at all.
Oh, hello.
TP's right into the Timber Saw. Will have to force his BKB TP himself.
And then he teleports somewhere else.
That's right.
To get mana at base, and then he's going to teleport bottom and start hitting the tower.
He'll be back. Double Siege Wagon for Spirit. Plenty of time on his Aegis. Claps with the hoof stomp onto Tofu. The rolling thunder from Lauren creating a good amount of space. First only on the one, though. Zisha will get off the BKB. You can see a little bit of focus on the belly. Wicked in the midst of all this. Goes for the Requiem play. Not doing, he does a decent amount of damage, but he ends up dying for it. Not me gets the kill. It's going to be a trade for Collapse, though. As Spirit trying to do a soft reset. They're going to lose their support now. Barrick's still up and running. Yotaro gets clipped by the arrow and the tornado. Is this life number 1? Nice force staff, and the load is coming out from Rue. Will help Yotaro survive, as you can see Tofu now trying to keep these pesky Spirit players out of their base. So far, success.
Dying.
Tofu is dropping quite low. 4 health, all right. Will survive. Boxy very deep in the midst of this. His Roots attempting to get away. Looks like Yotaro will be just fine, but Laurel not so much. Bramble after Bramble. Out of mana now. Gets off the blink at the last moment. He's actually going to get out. It looks like it. As Yotaro came back, apparently, just to BKB TP in their face, which creates enough space for the Pango to get away.
I can't believe that worked from Mickey. That's so insane. He offensively piked into Requiem, and somehow they actually hold there. I was about to say, this is not 50-50. All right, well, step number 1. This is, unfortunately for Liquid, this happened so fast after the Aegis pickup that Spirit definitely have a second attempt in them for this bottom lane.
Yep. And they had the banner the whole time, too. I'm a little surprised they didn't use it there. But we'll have it for this second attempt.
Yotaro probably shouldn't be the one holding said banner.
Probably not.
A little bit of inventory management issues. You should offload this, outsource the banner to a teammate.
Oh, they have a shield rune as well. As he consumes the Aghanim Scepter and is going for Moonshard next. Does not have buyback, but not worried about that with that Aegis. Obviously, Boxy will be run into. And Rolling Thunder looking for a connection. Ace gets off the Timber Chain with the BKB. Yotaro joining the party as well. They get the bash, though. The right clicks will come. Nice tornado. Keeping Yotaro at bay, but Nisha gives away his position in the tree line, attempting to go away, but no. He gets cursed in the TP, and Laurel's going to be there to finish the job.
No buy.
No buyback, 80 seconds, and this is 5 versus 4. That's not even including the Aegis.
I'm afraid no buy means bye-bye for this one.
I do believe.
Really, really difficult now. Holding without your primary high ground defender for a full minute when all 3 lanes are pushing in with a Nature's Prophet and a banner. Good luck.
Just go to every lane, push them out, and now the pressure is on Liquid. Tier 3 tower, Dunzo, and Roche banner still up and running. This is going to be at least a set, if not more. Laurel getting it a little bit deep with Swashbuckler to the low ground. Arrow not going to find his mark. Still 40 seconds for Invoker. You would think this is going to be 2 sets because they did a lot of damage in that bot side. See if Spirit stick around. Still a minute on the Aegis. And Prophet TPs to the top side, so wants to go for the building that is full HP, it seems. Get gone on by Ace. A good amount of damage gets that Satanic, though, and getting a very respectable amount of HP. The Whirling Thunder not nearly enough, and Ace will take a tumble, and he does not have buyback. So now that Nisha's coming up, the rest of his teammates aren't even alive, and this might just end up being Mega Creeps now as a result. Surprised they didn't wait. Either way, Spirit in firm control of this game now. That is the second set in their favor. Mickey looking for a cheeky spot to get this Requiem off. It's still on cooldown for 5 seconds. Is Yatoro looking for the full megas in favor of Spirit, and he'll get it. 32k lead for Spirit in this game number 1. Looking extremely sharp.
Yatoro's GPM. What the enjoyers out there? 1100.
Wow.
That's
Pretty good. Yeah.
Is that a top 3 of the event? There's been some pretty nutty Prophet games, but this is definitely up there.
Tornado Sun strikes a lot of damage to Laurel. Will get the roll up and gets cleansed as well and goes inside of the cart, which is going to be brought back into Nisha's face. Apparently gets off the Yule though. Now Laurel put in a precarious spot and will die. Will drop the gem as well. They'll kill off Foxy though in turn as Rue getting saved at the last moment by the destruction of Yatoro. He just fountain farming at this point. Still 20 seconds for Ace to come back. That's a double buyback on the Liquid. Arrow dodges Arrow though. Do they have the Requiem? They do. The right click damage coming through as McKay's going to get the kill with the lack of it. They're able to get the kill now onto the center in all likelihood. That's a death Requiem though for the Shadow Fiend. Does have the buyback if needed, but this is enough dead for Spirit that Liquid should be able to hold on here. As Collapse attempting to TP out, very ambitious. Will be falling to the burst damage of Ace, so Liquid technically hold on.
You must have kept really good track of Invoker spell cycling to think you can TP there. Oh, it's funny. Well, Liquid, they do hold. They find the first kill of the game onto Yatoro's Prophet, 8, 1, and 15. It's an arrow that does him in, and I think Shadow Demon could not disrupt because of the immediate follow-up Requiem. Gonna see the replay here. So Laurel they're just a bit out of position, right? Another great curse from Rue here is just gonna kill the Mirana, and they want to follow up.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah, so now he doesn't have it, and Yatoro wanted to follow up on Collapse's Stomp. They were hoping to kill Shadow Fiend, didn't happen, and this arrow and this Requiem really nicely choreographed by Liquid. Man, the fact that Mickey dies there is actually so close to surviving too.
Well, they're going to do as much damage to buildings as they can while these heroes are dead, but unfortunately for Liquid,
to kill the support. Going on Yatoro first is just not going to work. He's way too tanky. He has way too good coverage between the 2 defensive supports, plus the cart, Stampede, all of that. And that's where, at this point in the game, it would feel really, really nice to have like a Blink Hex to just be able to start a fight. Nobody has it though. You don't have a Blink targeted stun. You don't have an immediate obvious hero to frontline with, except Timber, who Spirit largely in this game has kind of been able to pretend isn't real.
yeah, that's
Ace just
pretty
hasn't
accurate,
really,
actually, yeah.
He hasn't really been able to do all that much. So, yeah, Nisha is going to be the one trying to fulfill that task here. He has the gold for the Hex now, would come at the expense of having buyback.
There's a chance, Liquid fans. Technically speaking, it's a great Ace Ventura.
That 1% is because of Liquid Yandex.
Actually, no, that was Dumb and Dumber. Sorry about that, Cinderin. I know you're big.
Yandex's Dumb and Dumber?
No, of course not.
Uncalled for. Dumb and Dumber is you and me. Guess who you are?
Dumber. 28K lead here for Spirit. I assume that they kind of chill a bit. They wait for these buybacks. So, and I say wait, farm up those buybacks because they haven't really used them, and then go for the Roche to finish the job. And for Liquid, I cannot see a scenario where they come back here if they give up Roche.
No.
Do you agree with that?
I would agree.
But it's so difficult to just leave your base at this point of the game. I don't even know how you contest Roche.
Yeah, the issue is I also can't see a scenario where they win the Roche fight, so it's a little bit tricky, right? Now that both enemy supports have Eon Discs, that was the thing I was talking about. They need to get on the supports and kill them. Well, they can't. They don't have a Purge either, so...
What if they bring all their couriers to the Roche pit, try to hide them, and go for the item steal? What do you think?
I like it.
You don't need your couriers.
No, it's creative.
It's something.
But yeah, leaving your base, when you, I mean, Mega against Prophet, have you ever seen that hero lose against Megas, or with Megas?
I don't think so.
This is like the worst hero in Dota to play against when you have Mega Creeps on your team. It just non-stop push in.
It used to be worse,
everywhere.
though. Remember, Cinder.
It could be worse. It could be worse, yes. The good old talent
All right,
was
well.
Ironwood Tree.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's favorite.
Oh, man.
So Spirit have Aegis, Cheese, Refresher Shard on the Pango, and Roche Banner again. And Roche Banner at this stage of the game starts to get really scary, especially with the Mega Creeps. You can put it relatively far away. Look at the damage that these Mega Creeps take. Not much. Toro leading the way, going to the tier 4s. Laurel opens it up with the Rolling Thunder, finding a couple connection. Mickey not using the BKB, blinks out instead. The Meteor coming down. Yatoro getting pretty low, looking for the cart connection. He's going to get disrupted instead, but the arrow is going to keep the Centaur in place. Yatoro wants to preserve this life number 1, but he gets bursted down by Ace. So Aegis is down and out. Nice start for Liquid. Oh, Timothy not going to make it. The Requiem comes in, putting Yatoro in a precarious spot. Has to bop the BKB with the Satanic as well. Mickey will fall. Now the Requiem on the Nisha. Not quite enough. Trying to get away. Good arrow. Arrowed again. The disruption is safe. There's the curse coming out of the meantime. Getting 3 members stuck. Yatoro still stuck with very little HP. Finally will fall. Does have the buyback. And obviously can TP back into the fight as well. Ace extremely low himself. Has to Timber Chain back to the fountain. And now the Ancient fully exposed as the tier 4s are out. We'll see if Yatoro wants to expend the buyback or not.
Man, they killed him twice.
Roche Banner still up. This feels like the time to use it. They're going to get the hoof stomp connection onto the Timber Saw, though, to start this out. Still Yatoro not using that. They actually had a complete lockdown on this Timber Saw. He just gets bursted down to the ground. And still, Yatoro available to come if he wants. It's the buyback now onto Ace. Trying to reset for Spirit. Timber Chain onto Laurel. Gonna dodge the tornado. Gets the bash off the shield crash on the Mickey. Attempting to get out. Does blink away safely. Not me, not going to be so lucky. As there's the buyback now from Yatoro. He's going to go for the throne straight up. He's going to actually go for the fight. Looks like he's coming for the fight is Ace. This will be a huge kill because this would be a dieback onto the Timber Saw. Nowhere to go. Hoof stomp and dead for 2 full minutes on this core. That's 2 dead, in fact, for Liquid with no way to get back in the game. Arrow going to be dodged by Laurel. Might have to reset a bit for Spirit. They can use these creeps to their advantage. Yatoro back into the fray, though. Right-clicking now the Ancient, the hoof stomp onto Mickey.
Time is running out.
The deafening blast coming in. Yatoro continuing to go for the buildings now as he should be able to finish this himself. There's the curse at the last moment. Finally, Fortification comes out for Liquid, but Yatoro left to his own devices. Mickey comes in with one last Requiem, a good attempt, but it's not going to be enough as he will fall to the ground, and Spirit surely will be able to take game number 1, and they do. GG's our call. Entertaining game with these two teams. It feels like every time we watch these teams, they certainly deliver in the entertainment factor.
Absolutely. And if your stats enjoy out there, just to give you the conclusion, Yatoro ends the game with 1,121 EPM.
Nice.
So eclipsing the 1,100 in a stellar individual performance. And I gotta say, all of Spirit in this game played exceptionally well. Every single one of them showing up in good form today. I loved their draft. I love what they were able to do around the mid-game portion. And yeah, Liquid, they were struggling to string it together.
That's right, Sheeper.
Thank you very much, Sinner and Suns fan there. We talked after the draft. We knew it was going to be difficult for Team Liquid in this game. We knew there was a lot of focus on the early stages of the game where we needed Mickey to do well, especially, and we thought maybe with getting First Blood, that would be a great step in the right direction. But Tigov, that was far from enough.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, your Toro's GPM was 1121. That's now the third highest GPM of any player in a Tier 1 or Tier 2 match in the history of Dota. It is absolutely incredible from him, but of course, that aside, everyone on Spirit just played extremely well. I think they were really methodical for how they played the early game, taking that safe lane tower, moving towards the mid tower, and then they kind of went a bit quiet, just hit the creeps, they don't have to overplay, wait for when they're ready, and then they'll kind of slowly progress the map to Liquid doing literally nothing.
Yeah, I really liked how Spirit played the early game with bringing the Nature's Prophet to kill Mickey in lane. Whilst I don't think, we expected they might have done it multiple times, they did it once and then took the tower, but the important thing after that was they placed a ward in the farming line at the bottom of the map, so they knew it when Mickey was just farming up and down there. I don't think they went to gank him, but it was more like we know when he's there, thus he cannot join fights on like the mid lane, for example. So Spirit played really nicely with their vision and pressure early game.
Yeah, and I think Winter also, the Winter Wyvern, we talked about briefly during the start of the day. This first pick for Team Spirit worked out so well.
Yeah, in a lot of the team fights, you could see why I was happy. If I'm a Wyvern, I'm playing to SF, I could always have a lot of opportunities to get a good cold embrace off, the curses were great. I think this is a hero that has risen up in stock by so much during the playoffs, and I'm expecting maybe the hero is going to be banned as well. You have to consider maybe if you want to ban it. But overall, I think Liquid's downfall is because they over-budgeted on the cores. They have too many cores that need to farm, and as a result, Nisha, he was punished in this game because he couldn't really farm Ancients because Timber was taking the Ancients, and he constantly had to take the dangerous waves, and he got ganked, and Timber can't really help him, in the early game. So they were very, very defensive. They were very passive from the start, and they just have very, very little control over the course of the game.
Yeah, especially if you do compare that to Team Spirit, who just seem to be on point almost time and time again. Team Liquid, they fought valiantly at the end of the game. You have to, as lower bracket at the International, you have to fight till the bitter end and hope that there is a mistake that you can still make your way back from and with. As we do take a look at the scores at the end of the day, Toro did die twice. First death was only at like 41 minutes, so we'll forgive him for that. He had a near flawless game there. For me though, I'm having to give this MVP to Rue Rhea because he played a phenomenal Wyvern.
Yeah, I think Rue's ability to disengage these fights when Liquid wanted to go in or be aggressive or try and make moves was so pivotal. I really love these supports. This IM build especially, having Blink for your best positioning, having Full Staff to help protect your allies, but also Eon Disc. Not dying is the most important thing you can do on a support. And genuinely, when games this TI have gotten to a spot where both supports can have Eon Disc, I feel like it becomes impossible for the other team to play because this is the highest priority target. Wyvern, every single fight, was getting off the right ults and the right heals to make it so that Mickey could do 0 damage.
Yeah, and also, you can see from the inventory, right, him having only the brown boots, not the mana boots. Mana boots are quite expensive, right? So being able to understand like when you need to buy them on a POS 5, like in certain games you need to help your cores as they're farming, run through the jungle, give them mana. But with Winter Wyvern, having that Blink Dagger as quick as possible, being able to play around it is going to really open up a lot of these engagements. So again, you don't have to default buy items, like you can just change it up based on game to game, and that is a good example of, again, many Wyvern players just skip it, but
I feel a little attacked.
That was a call. That was not a call of what the pros did. I was just reminding you guys that you don't always have to default buy items. Sorry, Shiva.
That's why I didn't really like the last pick on Timber, because they didn't have the right hero. They didn't have a hero to deal with all these supports. That's why I suggested Mars, which is not a very common hero now, but Mars would have given them a way to find the backlines. Because with their heroes, the Invoker, the Timber, and the Shadow Fiend, I mean, you could maybe say ultra late game, the Invoker can blink in or if he has blink or somehow find the backline. But over the course of the first 20-30 minutes, every fight, Wyvern got off like a very, very big ultimate in every single fight.
Yeah, and we would have loved to see Invoker have more impact in this game, but let's be real. I feel like maybe Laurel had Nisha's number a little bit. To break that one down, we're heading over to Purge.
Thank you, Cheever. Yes, the Pango Laurel, he played amazing this game, and I wanted to show some small details here. Sometimes in a Dota game, the smallest little margins make the difference. It could be 10 mana, it could be a couple extra kills, but what Laurel does as Pango is he's using his skills to do a long-range attack, and if he can get 2 creeps, kill the Forge Spirit or harass the Invoker, that's a really good plan for him. So he's trying to consistently use his mana in ways that benefit him. Now here's probably the most crucial part of the game. 4 minutes here, this rune is about to spawn, which means that he's going to refill his bottle, and if he does so, he gets a bunch of mana. And unfortunately, the Cold Snap was a fraction of a second too late, and as a result, Laurel's able to get his rune, he's able to refill his bottle, he ends up getting back to the mid lane before Nisha, and now he gets access to both water runes, which is a huge amount of mana. And with this mana, he now gets to use his skills multiple times to harass his opponent. He did miss that swashbuckle there, but he gets his shield crash here, and he's going to end up pressuring the creeps and going under the tower. This clip's going to be a bit of a long one here. So now he uses his water rune, he's bottling up now, he gets to use swashbuckle to harass Nisha, he gets to use the shield crash, but he doesn't have enough mana for his next spell. So watch what he does. He uses his last bottle charge, he uses a clarity, Nisha sees this, says, I need to stop that mana regen or I'm going to die, and he uses cold snap from long range, but he got just enough mana here, and as a result, ends up getting a solo kill in the mid lane. Crazy good play from Laurel. That all cascaded from that water rune earlier. And the pressure really didn't stop because the same thing kind of happened here. Eventually, Nisha does go for a kill on Laurel. Laurel gets stampeded away. His teammates come and back him up here. But as a result of that earlier advantage and Nisha not quite having full mobility yet, he ends up getting pressured, killed under the tower. This pressure that Laurel put on Nisha was really, really big for the game because it meant that Nisha was not impacting the game as much. And so much of it cascaded from that early kill due to the water rune fight and due to this early pressure by the Team Spirit support. So excellent play by Team Spirit to get ahead and not let Nisha control the game.
Thank you very much, Purge. It really is a butterfly effect. When things start to go wrong, it can go wrong way further down the line because that one mistake that was made very much earlier. We're going to take a look at some of the fights that happened after that laning stage started the way it did for Team Liquid. As Winter, there was one fight fairly early on that you wanted to highlight for us.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about like how the early game was quite very, very passive from the Liquid side because they had very, very greedy farming costs. So this is like the best thing they could do. They brought a lot of heroes. They see Team Spirit invading and trying to control their jungle and take the bounty rune, so to bring numbers. This is something that I think they did really well in the early game, making sure that they defend and they at least have access into the jungle because Nisha was constantly getting pressure, like Kevin mentioned. He couldn't really farm very well, so he needed the help to come towards his side of the map so that he can actually farm. Because he's not getting any Sunstrike kills based on the heroes. That's not really a good setup for Sunstrike. So if he can't get to farm the jungle, then where does he go?
He goes to the fountain. That's kind of what happened. No, it's definitely a rough one for Anisha's Invoker in this one, which was not just his fault, but it was the draft coming together in a little of a poor way, some might say. And there was another fight, Rhea, that happened a little bit later.
Yeah, this fight is actually initiated by Liquid in that they smoke up for it. They enter the jungle and try to take this fight, but this is the Wyvern impact we talked about. Instantly, this ball of heroes have no way to initiate because of this last pick Timbersaw that doesn't give them a way to fight. So this Wyvern ult catches 3 heroes, they instantly kill Morana, and then it just becomes Mickey doesn't know what to do. He wants to hit Lal, who's able to get his roll off due to this Wyvern stall. But then when he starts clicking him, Wyvern then just heals. And then he continues to, through his BKB, hit the healed Lal target, which doesn't have any impact. Ace is also caught in the Wyvern ult, isn't able to have any impact on the fight. He has to use his own BKB, also then hits Lal's Wyvern heal target. So but it felt like the Wyvern had caused so much dysfunction at the start that they didn't really they weren't able to find an actual target to go on. And then when you have Nisha on the side who was a little bit more out of the fight, then Yotaro just TPs on him and kills him. It's like no one can do anything when the matchup is this skewed and you don't have an easy way to start your fights.
I see an overarching trend here, and I'm sure you guys at home see too, because we got on one side, you got Invoker, he needs someone to play with, he needs someone to set up Sunstrikes, and he needs someone that doesn't steal his farm. Simple. I got already one thing in mind. You do too. And then on the other side, we got a great team fight, but not everybody's able to come together. We can't start the team fight in the way we want to. Who normally starts the team fight, Tigov?
All right, so just to be clear, all right, it's not Ace's fault, all right? I'm going to show a graphic of Ace, but just want to put that out there. I feel like he was kind of put into a really difficult position in the draft because they made him they needed to find a hero for him to try and pop off on. At 30 minutes into the game, he had the lowest damage of his entire team. So sure, maybe he could individually play better in this Timbersaw game, but with the setup of this draft, going for the Shadow Fiend, then the Invoker, double range support, having the Spirit ban out the Tusk and the Clockwork, of course the Bane already banned out in the draft, there was no natural support to kind of amplify this aggression. There was no way to bring life to the game. And then Ace was playing a Timbersaw, sure, a very good hero for him historically, maybe not in current years, but it's just it just didn't feel like the correct pick after watching the game, of course. In the draft, it's sure, if they play really well and they use the supports and contest runes and they play through the map, and they make space for SF, sure, they can play this game, but none of that happened. So in the game, they didn't play to the standard of how complicated their draft was. So I feel like in the next game, they have to tone it down. I don't want to see carry into mid pick, double range. I want to have just the classics, the initiation, the information that Winter's asking for, the ways to find the Winter Wyvern, the ways to start multiple fights with different options, because it's so scripted how they must fight. And Spirit, when they see the script, they will read it and outplay you. You have to make it more complicated for your opponent.
It's the support though. I think the hero that you suggested during the draft before Undying, I think when they had SF, maybe they needed something that's more stable in the early game because the Mirana just kind of doesn't really protect the SF at all. It's a nice hero, and in the games where I felt like Mirana was very impactful was when he had a very, very easy way to set up his arrow, like with Bounty, with Bane, for example, or SD. And I think with the Dark Willow, it's just that doesn't really feel like the support duo kind of worked out for them. So I would like to see them maybe change that up and try to figure out what works better.
Also, even Rebet's son, the Aegis looks so exciting. It's the next match. I just want to talk about the items. I'm really excited about it, but the match is about to start. I don't want to take away that hype.
You're good. The match is soon starting. But first, we need the players in the booth, Rhea, and they will take their spot once again. Team Liquid in the lower bracket, no stranger to being with their backs against the wall. Team Spirit, this is the first match they're playing in the lower bracket, and let's be real, that first game didn't look like they were playing in the lower bracket. They had a great time, a comfortable time, one of the all-time highs for the Nature's Prophet of Yotoro as well, and he's of course looking to replicate those results, so everybody at home knows that it's not Satanic's year, it's his year once again. And to do that, he needs to choose the right items, Ray.
Oh my God, me!
You can talk about the items. That's all good.
Okay, the reason I was getting hyped is because when you talked about the Timbersaw, I wanted to criticize his item build a little bit. Because if you look at what he bought, he went for the Sanjin Kaya, and he went for the Blink and the Heart and the Shivas. He built to be so tanky, and when I feel like you don't have this correct initiation, I would hope instead that he would buy a Scythe of Vice. Because having the ability to Blink Hex would actually give a setup for his team to start getting kills. And something that I thought was so nice in response to that was because Yotoro had a Wyvern and a Shadow Demon to play with saves. It meant that he didn't have to buy a Hurricane Pike. Typically, we see these Dragon Losses turn into Pikes because another 4-stuff on the team, always good. Instead, he gets to buy the Hydra's Breath. And the reason this is so nice is because when you attack with it, it does 2.5% of your opponent's max HP as damage. So when you're playing into a Timber, it's like you don't have to worry about his armor because you're doing damage with this Hydra's Breath, and you don't have to worry about all these tanky HP items because you have Hydra's Breath. And I just thought that was a really nice result of the draft and the itemization of this game.
I mean, would you have liked it if he gone for Gleipnir so he can at least have a way to set up for his team, like for the Sunstrikes?
No, I think he built perfectly, and I think he's the best player in the world, Winter.
Okay. There you go. He's the best player.
All right, but this...
Oh, wait, you're talking about Timbersaw?
Yeah, Timber.
Yeah. I was like,
Sorry, I got confused. Yeah.
Profit buying Gleipnir?
I don't know. We could go back a year in time.
I just stay quiet. All right, I'll let them do that.
No, you're right. Gleipnir could have been good, yeah.
For the Timbersaw.
Yes,
For the
yes.
Timbersaw. Well, we took a step back, and it wasn't just a Timbersaw. It was how they set up the entire draft. So that leads me to believe that at the end of the day, going into this game too, Blitz is going to be like, yo, guys, that was on me. No worries. Don't sweat. I got us next time around. Because going into this second game of an elimination series, you have to have your head on straight and you have to know and be comfortable that you got what it takes and that you got the tools in the draft as well.
Yeah, if they want to keep the same draft order, if they do want to play the Shadow Fiend into Winter Wyvern, I would probably just move towards not taking Invoker on 13. Like, put the Mirana there if they want to. If they really want to have these type of heroes, let the draft breathe for a little bit longer. And then when you open through the later phase, getting the 2 response picks to the opening of second, then you can go for it. But I just don't think the double core and give Spirit, like, all the information in the world. Like, that is the scariest thing to give to Spirit.
I actually think the problem was in the second phase draft when Spirit removed Tusk and Clockwork in the second phase draft. And I think why they didn't go for Undying was because Tofu doesn't like to play the melee heroes and Boxy doesn't play, he doesn't want to play Undying. He plays the melee heroes he plays is Tusk and Clock.
Yeah.
And Tofu only plays one melee hero, Trian. And that hero is probably not going to be...
Permaband.
Yeah, probably not going to be available. So I think that is an issue that they need to look at. If Meke is playing a range hero, how do they solve it? Do they want to pick the melee hero earlier or do they have a replacement? Because I think they don't have a replacement. That's my theory.
Are we in a world where they get so afraid of this concept and they start like not first picking, like literally first phasing with no cares of anything else? It's like we're taking our task or clock just to be able to get the range combos down the line.
They need to secure the system. I think the system is very, very important for them to be successful. They need to have like a melee plus range combination and they need to have the lane setup that would benefit them. The last time out, they have the Mirana and SF. That caused a lot of problems for them. Sure, maybe they could have adjusted some of the bans to accommodate that, but I think there's just too many holes they needed to plug there, and it was very, very difficult for them to do it.
What do you think about the alternative of a Centaur pickup instead of Invoker? Because I think that makes the offlane a lot more stable than having to reach this last pick. And
yeah, you get a Helm hero, so he creates a distraction as well, like the Timber, but at the same time, he's not so greedy. You know,
he has a stun.
He has a stun.
That's nice.
Yeah.
He has
TI analysis, guys.
He's lower budget, and they could actually give more space to Nisha. You pick his Invoker, you need to be able to give space to him to farm.
Yeah, it sounds also simple, and we're talking about this obviously now in hindsight. Going to the booth, I think both Miposhka and Blitz will have thought about this to try to 5-hat each other and be one step ahead of the curve. Let's see who is one step ahead of the other as we head into the next one.
Team Spirit versus Team Liquid. Game 2.
For this second game, we got Team Spirit on the Radiant side and Team Liquid on the Dire side. And it's a full swap because Team Liquid also has the first pick that was in the hands of Spirit in Game 1. It is also overall last pick for Team Spirit here. So we'll see what answers Liquid has. There is already quite the change in this game because in the previous game, we saw both Nina and Ember removed from the pool and both, for now, are still in. The Winter Wyvern made it in as well, into the bans, that is. And that also means that the Bounty Hunter is no longer in the pool. It's gone. It's right now removed. Shadow Fiend also still removed. So definitely quite a big development here.
Yeah.
One thing to note is the
cool
Florida still in.
You need to pick your supports. A lot of the supports are banned. Like out of the first phase bans, 4, 5 of them are support heroes?
Yeah.
I mean, I find this is pretty impressive from Liquid to come into this game and go, you know what, this is what we're going to approach the bans with, because we're making a case for a good Winter Wyvern game, or the fact that Bane, of course, is a staple. Shadow Demon getting promoted all the way to first phase, I don't think was in contention.
No,
but
I don't think anybody thought of that.
With the Wind Ranger pickup, you can see it now obviously makes a little bit more sense, right? But still, 3 supports into Wind Ranger.
Wait, I don't see it how it makes sense. I'm sorry. Why does it make more sense now that we see Wind Ranger?
Wind Ranger walks in, you just disrupt the person that she's going on, and then now her focus 5
Oh, you said
PKB
Shadow
is going
Demon.
low.
Sorry, I thought it was Shadow Fiend you said. My bad.
No.
My bad.
Shadow Demon.
Different shadows.
Like, yep, cool, great.
I like this Wind Ranger pick as well because a hero they have left in is Lina, who has been famously first phase. But I really like Liquid taking Wind Ranger as an answer to Lina because she is able to just go in with BKB and focus fire Lina and just destroy her. I see Liquid do it so often. So I think it makes the first pick have to be different from Lina. We see Centaur instead, which we also considered last time we covered this matchup as unfavorable for Windranger, yet Liquid still made it work.
And they have a choice to move it to Boxy if they deem that this is not really that great. But yeah, but I think Liquid also did one game that just didn't care. They had the Tusk and win. I think they just let it lane against the Centaur.
I mean, Spirit could also force the draft here by banning the Tusk of the Clock and then taking it out of phase. And then we still have the same question that we're looking for answers.
I mean, they can only ban... Yeah, I guess they ban one.
They ban one, pick one,
and
right?
pick the other
one. So it's like you ban Tusk, pick Clock, because into Wind Range you don't really want to take the Tusk, right? So it's like, yeah.
That's a very good plan, I think. If you do that, it's going to put Liquid in a very uncomfortable position. Where, okay, maybe they have to pick the Undying, or maybe, I don't know, they have to figure some other replacement, which will
but it causes them to have to think about it, right?
Yeah, and they have to play out of their comfort zone. And the recipe right now, where I feel like Liquid really wants to get is somehow a melee hero on Boxy, and he can be the 5, and Tofu can be with Ace.
But also, as we've seen, like you already said, if these things happen, if Spirit really invests so heavily,
The support ban, or you have to ban one of Nisha's heroes.
yeah. So because of course the Wind Ranger flex, they don't bother with the support bans. They go for Ember and Talina.
So Liquid probably gonna pick up one of the melee heroes right now. Like the Clock or the Tusk. But it also depends who's gonna play the win. If Mickey wants to play the win, then I think they'll pick one of the melee heroes. But if Boxy is playing the win, then they're gonna do something else.
Always exciting, guys. Second phase, end of draft. Nisha can pick Puck. Yay! I've said it so many times this season and every other season of competitive Dota. Yeah, it's looking fine as well as an option for Nisha down the line.
Yeah, you can have his pick maybe by that time around. There's more information on the board from what Team Spirit wants to do with that Lina, as there is still the flex potential, putting the Lina either in the mid lane or on the safe lane.
Yeah. Mickey has experience playing Wind Ranger into both of these cores. Looks like we're going to play with a Tiny instead. Has we seen Tiny on any role other than
I think
carry
mid.
this
I think
tournament?
somebody did it mid. I don't remember who was it.
At least for Liquid, it has only ever been carry. So Liquid is just making a statement that they want to play a very pick-off style game, a skirmishing game. Like they're going to step up into the lanes, try and just get an extra little bit of net worth, and then translate that into like one cheap item on each hero, and off we go. Yeah.
It does also mean that I think we've locked in Wind Ranger to be in the hands of Boxy, with the Mirana taken up by Tofu. We have seen Nisha play Wind Ranger once and it didn't go well, and I think if we heard him talk yesterday about how he wants to have comfort when going in the lower bracket and how he won against Falcons yesterday, then I think you don't give him Wind Ranger. But
The
it's
option's
still
there. That's the best part.
Enough to try and gank, because at any point there's so many little ways, 2 more heroes to be picked as well. So Liquid, their play style is Moonlight Shadow from the Silver Edge on Tiny to find a hero. If you don't 100-0 them, the counterplay from Spirit is still exceptional.
The phase on Liquid, and you can respond like Underlord with something like Dawnbreaker.
They need
heroes
it, yeah.
that react.
Exactly. Like that's the hero I want to see on Ace, because it will overwhelm the fight for Liquid to give them a good window of the game.
Well, with that in mind, let's just pick up the Rubik now so that the Underlord won't be picked and they don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
I mean, you could do that. You definitely could do that, but I think it's not as solid as something like a Willow. If you go Willow, the whole Willow. Okay, Hoodwink is fine too. It's a lot more solid. They have a lot of damage. The lane's very strong. I mean, with Rubik and Centaur, the lane is just a little bit weaker compared to Hoodwink plus Centaur. Like Hoodwink is just the best support for just securing your laning phase, and Team Spirit here, they have a very, very stable setup. And Hoodwink with the Boomerang plus the Lina, that's insane as well. And Liquid, they need some team fight right now. You guys mentioned Underlord plus or Dawnbreaker. I think those heroes definitely give them team fight, or something like a Tide, like would help them.
I was about to say maybe the Tide, where it's like maybe it's not as like nah.
This is, however, Team Spirit that very much was aware that this puck would come out. So that I'm sure they have something prepared against it, and they do have the overall last pick. And with the flex potential of the Lina, there's definitely still quite a bit possible there. And potentially some cool pocket pick will come out. On the side of Team Liquid, we're in a similar situation as last game, as we need a hero for Ace. And I would love to know what kind of boxes Ace's hero needs to be able to tick this time around, considering they kind of missed the mark with the last game pick.
Yeah, I think it's awkward now because you take Puck, which is, you know, great. Nisha is someone you should prioritize so he doesn't get banned out, but you're probably going to lose your Dawnbreaker and your Underlord now, which I think were the two best in slot.
Yeah, but they probably felt like he had three options, right? We mentioned Dawn, Underlord, and Tide would be like the obvious option. So maybe they feel like it's okay if they ban two, they're going to get one, but whereas for the mid picks, they feel like Puck is probably the best one, so they decided that was what they wanted to go for.
Yeah. Also, it was so respectful. I just double checked. Yeah, Nisha hasn't played a single game of Puck this TI. So
really,
yeah, he decided, you know what, potential elimination game. Ah, fine, I'll play Puck if you need me to.
The Dragon Knight that you mentioned, Rhea, will be removed from the pool as well.
That's it. We've ran out of heroes.
That's it. Good job. Pack it up.
Of course, there is the like the old Huskar and snipers if the lane beat to Puck, but again. And
not really
players these days, they just exactly, bad for the lineup. You just farm the double counts after the lane, you lose your mid tower, you sacrifice a little bit of tempo, but then you eventually just have the better lineup because they've drafted themselves into a win.
I think there's still one more, the Shaker. I don't know if like Shaker is something you would consider. Yep. I think Shaker is decent into Puck, it's not that bad. You have that lockdown, you can always stun him from Fog, and then you catch him, you kill him with all the Echo, you can instantly disable him. And it's good in the lane against the Puck as well. So I think that would be a decent option overall.
It's kind of gone untouched so far, but what do we feel about Io?
Yeah, this series does not care Io.
I know it's obviously not great into Coil because you're going to partner with someone, but also if you're able to have core items on Io and then sustain through Coil, especially with your Lina, who's going to get jumped on by a tiny Wind Ranger Puck, I think it could be an option.
Yeah, it is an option because against like heroes like Puck and Storm, Glimmer Cape is just OP against them. So picking up a hero that has sustainability is a pretty cool one, and they go for the Lycan. This Ace is Lycan.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice. The Wolf Bite on the Tiny, one of my favorite combos in the game. And it gives them a very, very fast-paced lineup. They have a lot of vision with the wolves. You can hunt down the enemy supports. Clock and Hoodwink, they hate playing into summons. They don't really do much against the summons. So this is a very, very nice pick.
It sounds like they rounded this one out maybe a little bit better than the previous one. Of course, there's still an answer coming from Team Spirit that now
A shaker
it needs
just
to
got
solve
better.
way more.
Can
Yeah,
you not just put like Lina to mid and you take like your Toro Terrorblade and then just like you play the macro game, just keep skipping the waves, like you just survive and then
Or like Sven, do you think?
Yeah, Sven's okay too. There's also a Naga pick, which is kind of like a Lycan counter, but I like the Sven a little bit more.
The carry pool feels way nicer here than the remaining mid pool.
I'm looking at the mid pool and it's like, sure. Okay,
Nice
they do go for
quality,
the
yeah.
Terrorblade. So yeah, they want to keep the game alive. They want to try and eliminate Team Liquid from the International with a Yatoro Classic.
But they have a puck problem.
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
Like, who's gonna kill the puck? Maybe the Terrorblade can itemize an Orchid.
You think he does Mantle? Yeah, Mantle
I'm
Orchid.
somewhere down the road, but that's gonna take time. Like in the first 20 minutes, Hoodwink's Bushwhack is the only thing that can reliably maybe set up a kill or two on puck.
Will Team Liquid have a more solid early game than previous game?
Yes.
I mean, it's hard not to.
1,000,000%. Like, game one doesn't even exist anymore. Like, this is infinitely better from Liquid's draft.
Infinitely better. How much focus is Nisha gonna get if we're saying that, like, you know, Laurel is gonna have to do well against this Nisha puck? Is gonna get help from the side lanes to cement his victory there?
Lina always does well. You're gonna really want your Clockwork to hit 6 because the most reliable way of killing him is probably hook shot into Lina stun, into then like a cog back. I think you have enough damage at that point to kill him, but then you need to make sure that Clockwork is helping with like stacking and then getting the XP from that, making sure you secure your Wisdom Rune because these levels are going to be absolutely 100% the most critical thing for Spirit to survive.
What a dog you are. Tiny Lycan LGD combo here. TI-10 flashbacks. Is this on purpose or is this actually just good for the draft?
We wanted to pay an homage of sorts. I think it's exciting. I'm assuming that the Chinese fans aren't watching the stream, so I don't want to give them like PTSD or anything. But yeah, you know, it's just like a throwback.
Speaking of a throwback, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but 9 years ago on this very stage, the manager, coach of Mineski was in your exact position in this exact booth. And you know what he did to make his team come back? He did 10 push-ups on the stage. Now, I'm not saying you have to, but could you beat him for good luck for Team Liquid?
Did they win the series?
They did win the series. You have to do more than 10. Will you do it? Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Pull him out. Come on, Blitz. 1 for Nisha, 2 for Team Liquid, 3 for everyone else, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, come on, 9, you got it, 10, 11, 10, it's a tie. It's
11.
Okay, it's 11. It's 11, all right, let's go. We got first blood, we gotta get in the game. Team Liquid will come back, the curse is broken, let's get into it.
Very nicely done from Blitz. I have to say, we've seen the first blood already for Liquid, so, I mean, that was after, or sorry, the first blood was before the push-up center, so I don't know what's going to happen now.
Yeah, I imagine now. Well, they didn't win on the bounty runes, so maybe he shouldn't have. All the things that have happened since have been in favor of Spirit, which is bounty runes and nothing else.
But the good news is Mikke is the one to get first blood on the position 1 Tiny, so off to a very good start for him.
Yeah, and I agree with the panel's assessment that this will be a better game for Liquid. I think last game, I think it was just the level of execution required and the margin for error was really narrow. I think this has more of a natural feel to it. You've got a better balance between heroes going in and following up. You've got better overall lanes, I would say, on paper, and you don't have to worry about the profit this time, which was ignored in the draft.
Yeah,
I just want to say,
when I looked over at you during the draft, you're like, they're going to pick profit.
Well, I was like, there's still Hoodwink, there's still Profit, and well, we got one of them. It's going to be Rue playing the position 5 Hoodwink this game for the side of Spirit. And a different archetype hero for Laurel here as well. Lina and Pango play completely different games. Pango very much up in the face of the enemy and setting the tone for the fights. Lina is more of a ranged assassin, so they're going to need somebody else to play that role, and that's why Not Me is on a Clockwork this time instead of the Shadow Demon. So Spirit making sure to maintain their draft integrity and the overall read they have on what makes lineups function right now. Also, I can't believe that this was was that true that this is the first game of
Boxy in a bit of trouble. Looks like he'll be taken up by Yatoro. Popped the fairy fire, but falls nonetheless. Rue getting chased by the wolves. Should be able to survive. Go ahead, Cinderella.
Didn't it surprise you that this is Nisha's first game of Puck of the tournament?
You're kidding.
Wasn't that what they said? Did I misunderstand? I thought they said he hasn't played it yet.
That's crazy.
This is maybe his best. It's in contention for his best hero of all time. It's probably between this and Ember, right?
I think it's still Puck.
And yeah, sure, the hero is not quite where it used to be right now. I think it's not as good, but it's a really good Puck game. Winner was harping on this quite a bit, that Spirit have no way of killing this hero.
Yeah.
So if Nisha gets off to a good start and this game goes into the favor of Liquid in the mid game, I think the Puck plus Lycan is just going to run down the supports super easily in the fights, and eventually Lycan will transition into making Tiny an absolute monster with the Ags. So I'm pretty hopeful for Liquid here. For the side of Spirit, though, like T-Gov was pointing out, perhaps the idea with the Terrorblade pick is twofold. Obviously, you're good against Lycan, but also maybe you just play the map differently. You just constantly split pushing waves with yourself, with rockets, with Lina just killing them from the tree line, with Hoodwink, and perhaps this whole Puck play together with Lycan doesn't really come to be all that often. Might work out.
Yeah, the crowd was actually really excited to see Terrorblade pick.
I think they love Yatoro Terrorblade.
They just love Yatoro.
It's a classic.
He'll pick whatever. But yeah, this is one of his strong. I mean, I don't even know what I would consider his strongest heroes. The Bushwhacker is going to find its target onto Ace. Slowed up. Metamorphosis. It's enough. Yatoro's on the board now. Oh, he already was apparently. This is his second kill. Off to a very good start for the Terrorblade. And your thoughts on, other than the Lycan Ags into Tiny combo, Lycan in lane, how should he be doing?
He should lose. It's a hard lane. You're playing into Terrorblade Hoodwink. So the thing is, what Lycan can always do, you can pull the waves with Wolves. It's obviously a huge problem that Boxy died at level 1 on Wind Ranger. I would say that should not happen in this lane, so they must have made some sort of misplay to get to that position. Now that he has Wind Run, that is unlikely to happen again, but the damage is already done. Yatoro's lane is... This lane is all him. He can't lose from this position. Damage done to Boxy again here by Rue, really pressuring him up.
So then with that in mind, the other side of the coin, with Mickey getting that first blood, how's his lane supposed to go in that 2 versus 2?
It's a good lane for the Mirana in particular. You're playing against 2 melee heroes. It's Mirana that's super easy to navigate. Tiny with first blood advantage. I still think they will struggle to really box out the Centaur. I think he's still going to get a good amount here. Tiny doesn't have high enough consistent damage in the laning phase to really get through a Helm of Iron Will Centaur, which Collapse has now picked up. So that in turn means that Not Me is free to make some other moves if he wants to.
Bushwhack again going to set up a kill. Man,
really?
Hoodwink is absurd in this tournament. The fact that it's being ignored occasionally is crazy. Bushwhacks have been very, very effective in all stages of the game, too. It's not just like in the laning stage.
Boxy
winning in some cases.
Boxy cannot be happy with this so far. This is... I think if you asked him, he would say he shouldn't have died in this lane, and now we're up to 2 deaths in 5 minutes. Taking a beating here, and obviously Ace is suffering from that.
I mean, you can kind of look, hold that thought, as Liquid have 3 members up in the top lane. Blood Grenade into the power shot onto Not Me. Will pop the Lotus to try to stay alive. Collapse with a nice hoof stomp onto 2. The tree does hit Not Me, but he is going to walk away from this.
Any power shot attempts? No. Going to conserve the mana.
And looking at the CS between the carries,
and looking at Ace.
Again going to die. So another kill for Yatoro. 3 kills on the board. Has 50 CS versus the 29 of Mickey on Tiny.
It's pretty ironic to throw Lycan to the Wolves, but that's literally what they're doing here. This is ugly. I kind of liked the pick. I knew this lane was going to be hard. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. He is bottom of the net worth of the course.
And what about catch-up potential for Lycan? Is that a thing?
You can jungle. It's
Nisha
all right.
getting very aggressive. The Arcane is going to be taken by Not Me in the top side of the river. Nisha going to take a full look. Laguna Blade, Acorn shot attempting to get the illusory orbit, burning away. Even the rocket flare not needed. As Tofu looking to take more damage in the tree line. Another blood grenade. So much damage over time. Going bowling, doesn't need it. As Not Me will get the kill with the blood grenade. A 6-1 advantage for Spirit. They're on fire, no pun intended.
Brew is owning. There's no other way to put it. He's found all
Okay.
Wow.
Doggy, something.
I don't remember it like that, but
Something doggy.
I was about to say they've remastered it. I guess I don't know if you'd call that a remaster.
That's the new age version. Laurel. This is the beauty of having these wolves, though, is all the vision. It's almost like having a pseudo bounty hunter in your game.
Yeah.
Except he's not giving you track kills at this point. Toro apparently very confident with this 3K lead. I mean, Dota Plus is very confident in Spirit right now. I mean, if this goes late game, how would you match up the two teams?
I think it's pretty close. I think Terrorblade is a pretty strong contender for this game.